Feels good to be me. Every time I breathe, everywhere I go, and I always know that I'm always me. Feels good to be free. Have the world at my feet. Everywhere I go, and I always...
Oh, woo! Opens on me being like, I was mean nice.
Welcome.
Welcome to No Pill Friday with Audrey Stewart and Danny Dunn. Danny Dunsey with his shaved head and his good attitude. We're pumped for today's episode, huh? Oh, wait. What? Oh, look there. I feel like every opening to the episode, we always
it never changes. We always forget.
It never changes. Okay. We said last time, but we didn't even, we told my own horror story of my car, and that took up the majority of the podcast. But because it's October, we're going to be telling spooktastic, hated myself for that, stories. Spooktastic. And we're calling my Aunt Jill. That's what we mentioned last week. And she has a story that happened not too long ago. Yeah.
Is Aunt Jill a ghost?
Aunt Jill is a ghost. She did pass, and she came back just to tell this story.
Very nice of her.
She possesses me sometimes, only when I do bad stuff. That's always Aunt Jill.
What kind of bad stuff you do?
When I mean to the other team in my gay kickball league, that is Aunt Jill possessing me.
Can we do callbacks to things that happened off air?
Yeah, we can do. Yeah, that's fine. No one even.
All right, who's Aunt Jill?
Okay, Aunt Jill is my dad's sister. They grew up. Here's a little backstory because I don't know if she'll be telling it, but essentially, I'm even going home for Halloween because we live in the oldest neighborhood in the state of Indiana. It's called Irvington. It's historic Irvington. Halloween is a huge deal there. There's each house has its own story. My dad's house used to be a preschool. And it's really creepy. And there's a picture.
His childhood home used to be a preschool?
Yeah, and then we live in his childhood home. No, it's probably a small preschool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not ginormous.
It's like a small preschool.
It's like a medium-sized preschool.
Sure.
And so there's a lot of really wild stuff that happened there. So this has to do with my aunt's house that falls in that. All my dad's family lives in this neighborhood too.
Okay.
We all
what kind of wild stuff
are
was
possessed.
Happening?
What?
What kind of wild stuff was happening in the preschool?
Oh, I don't know. Not our preschool, but I'm saying wild stuff in the neighborhood. Haunted things. My aunt will tell you.
Like spooks and specters?
Yeah.
Okay.
I almost wish I could tell it first and then see
if they
line up.
If it lines
and
up.
how much shit I've added over the years.
Well, give us a little teaser. What kind of spooks are we expecting?
But that makes it fun if I don't give the teaser because there's so many twists and turns. Honestly, but because I talked to one aunt, my aunt said, I'll try to click the link. I swear, ants and their technology. And then she put hearts.
Well, that's sweet.
It is sweet. We love you, Aunt Jill.
Aunt Jill's kind.
Aunt Jill is a funny. But now it's opened the floodgates ever since I said to, I told one aunt, let's get you on. My aunts and uncles are calling me. And my aunt actually called me this morning with a story. I could tell that. My Aunt Elsie.
Oh, please.
Okay, this one's not even spooky paranormal. This one's just kind of freaky. So back in the day, God bless them, they didn't have cell phones. You didn't, they just were having fun. I feel like curfew was the only thing they had to get everyone back.
Fun.
And my mom, this is my mom's sister. My mom was one of 11. So my Aunt Elsie, imagine being my grandma and grandpa trying to keep track of 11 kids. It's insane. That's why I have 36 first cousins.
60.
60 first cousins?
60 first cousins.
That's Indiana for you. Is that?
Yeah.
Honestly,
we,
probably cousins and cousins. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Wait, so how many how many siblings do your parents have?
How many parents do I have?
How many parents do you have?
Countless.
How many siblings do your parents have?
My dad's one of 8, and then one of his sisters has 10 kids.
No.
But did your aunts and uncles have a lot of kids?
Everybody had about 4 or 5.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. That's wild.
That's
10
done.
kids. I feel like nowadays that's impossible. Anyways, so my Aunt Elsie, she's babies. She runs with a wild crowd, right? All of her friends are wild. She was the good one of them, but that's what she was telling me. But okay.
She was the good one with the wild crowd?
Of the wild crowd.
Okay.
I believe it. But she was basically saying that one of her friends would babysit every Saturday for a family and then throw parties at this house every Saturday with the parents gone. And like everyone would go over and the kids would be asleep and everyone would be downstairs like drink. Because remember, people in Indiana have basements, which people in California don't have, which is weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was a thing until recently.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
And I'm like even out here, I'm like, where's your basement?
But like
They're
everyone has a basement in Indiana.
everybody has a basement.
Every
in
single
Indiana.
person.
No one doesn't have a basement. In Indiana.
Right.
No one has a basement here.
Yeah.
Why? Because of earthquakes? Can anyone
Is it
tell us
'cause
why
of
people in
earthquakes?
California don't have
I think
basements?
we have them because of tornadoes.
Earthquakes. Sea levels.
Is that actually it? Or else you'll hit the ocean. Or else your basement will be the ocean.
Oh, I see. Or else you have a whale in your.
Or else you have a beluga
You'll-
whale
you'll
in your basement.
If
Sorry.
you have a basement, you have a chance of having a
No.
killer shark
Will you have
surfacing
will
through
you have a
the.
dolphin pod below your house? No. No basements. But everyone in Indiana has a basement.
Everyone has a basement, so everyone would come over to the basement and party and whatever. And one Saturday, my aunt's friend was like, "Hey, I actually don't want to babysit this Saturday. I want to go do something else. Can you watch?"
I think that's a fair request.
I think it's a fair request. And she was like, "Can you watch the kids?" And first, by the way, what are these parents doing every Saturday that they're going out? Like, that's some fun parents. Or like,
Maybe they're having a date night.
I love that. Let's make a commitment every Saturday. Go out. That's
Go
what
dancing.
I'm gonna do. Yeah, if I have kids, we won't go down that rabbit hole. So
do
what
you
if I
want
just had a
kids?
tear shed? I don't know. I think I don't know. Are we gonna die from global climate change?
That's a fair question. That's a question.
I don't know.
we
Every
should
time
all be
someone asks
asking
me, I
ourselves.
literally seem like I'm about to explode. I'm like,
Do you,
I don't
but when
know.
you picture your future, do you picture it with kids?
I mean, I would be one hell of a mother, but I also
You'd be a fun mom.
But also, like, I'm freaking out. Like, I just leased a Kia, you know? I can barely, so I can't have kids.
You know
I
what?
just leased
That's a
Kia,
great point.
and I can
Ask
barely
me
afford it.
later.
Ask me later. After my lease is up, we'll see where I'm
That's
at.
yeah. We'll reevaluate that in about 18 months.
Yeah, I'm like, no, 36 months.
You signed a 36-month
They
lease.
bullied me at the car dealership, and it was actually a wild ride.
You signed a 3-year lease.
It was so
Is
weird.
that a lot? That's a lot.
Yeah, I think it's kind of.
No?
They kind of bullied me. It was weird. 12,000, but it's 30 cents per, and so I said
What do you think, Wolf?
I might have to pay like what $3 if I well I don't even know if I'll have it, but $3,000 if I go over to. They bullied me. I panicked and I purchased it. I'm the worst. I
Panicked
shouldn't
and
have
I
gone alone.
purchased.
I shouldn't have gone alone. I was like,
Could have brought your kids if you had kids.
exactly, but that would have made it worse.
Or helpful.
I literally was being really harsh with them too. I was like, I don't need this Kia. This Kia needs me. And then they were like, I think you need the Kia more than you think because you're here, right here. And he's
you
like, I
walked
can
here.
have
You
someone.
need this Kia.
He's like, I can have someone right after you buy this Kia for what I'm offering. I said, I can have the Kia buy me for what I'm offering. And it was just they were like, where is your?
Now we're in a 36-month lease, baby.
Yeah, and I actually did take my Adderall for that.
Did you?
Yeah, and I was like all sweaty, it made it worse. And then I like had
What happens when you take your Adderall?
I sweat
Really?
and focus.
Aside from being able to focus, what are your side effects?
sweating,
Okay.
feeling nothing.
Oh, cool.
You could be like, hey, you just booked your lifetime gig. That's amazing.
Were you about to say the Caribbean cruise liner?
You just booked a full inclusive
you just
Carnival
booked
cruise.
Carnival cruise.
And I'd be like, okay,
Feel real numb inside.
yeah. What about you?
I don't take it anymore.
Oh, that's right.
I've been out of the game for like 2 years.
But if I was on it right now, it would allow me to finish the story. But see,
Maybe if I was on it, I'd be letting you finish the story.
I don't think so.
But I felt the same way. I felt also numb.
Yeah.
All right.
That's why it's got really sad. But it's not bad. It's like, okay. So anyways,
So no basements in Indiana.
so no basements in Indiana, but so Saturday night, whatever, her friend goes and does something differently. And then she checking the time. Her friend goes and does something differently, and my aunt takes over the babysitting.
Okay.
So back in the day, even though people were getting murked all the time, I guess like people weren't worried about crime as much, even though like all the documentaries take place on. They were like they left doors unlocked all the time. Like it was like woo, and that's what the previous babysitter always did. She left the doors unlocked, like wasn't careful. And this will be relevant. I'm not being creepy, but the babysitter, like not my aunt, not my aunt, was like voluptuous and like a very attractive. It'll be relevant. I swear to God.
This is good detail.
If I was just like detailing my aunt's looks, I was like, she had a fat ass.
Legs that would go for miles.
You're like, it's your aunt. No, so not my aunt. The babysitter had legs that would go from an attractive woman. That'll come in later. So my aunt is is freaked out and always locks the doors and stuff. So she takes over this one night and she locks us all the doors, like whatever, the window, and it starts to storm. Okay, it's storming and the kids go to sleep. Parents aren't coming home till like 1 a.m. So she's like falls asleep in the front room, whatever. Thunder is loud. And so then she heard something shaking the screen door. And she was
this
like...
is such a Midwestern story with basements and screen doors.
In screen doors, right, with a storm. Of course, it's always storming. Yeah. And so she was like, oh, it's the thunder, whatever. But then she's kind of paranoid. She freaks out. Like, everyone in our family is paranoid for some reason. And she literally goes and checks, and there is... Oh, my Aunt Jill. I'll finish the other story after Aunt Jill. Aunt Jill! Can you hear me? Aunt Jill?
Yes.
Aunt Jill! Hi.
Hi.
Aunt Jill, do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Hi, I'm Aunt Jill.
Aunt Jill, and you got your IU Health. She is a speech pathologist.
I am.
At IU Health in the hospital. And where are you taking this call from?
I'm taking this call from a conference room at Methodist Hospital in Indianapolis.
Okay, we love it.
Wow.
Okay, so as we mentioned before, and as you know, Aunt Jill, it's October, so we're telling, scary stories. And I gave them the background of Irvington, the neighborhood that we all live in, how it's old and historic and things like that. But we want you to tell your story for us.
Oh, okay. Should I proceed right now?
Yeah, proceed. Hit us
Okay.
with it.
All right. Well, I live in a very old home in that neighborhood of Irvington, and our house is circa 1900 to 1904. And when we first moved in, we had an older son already. And our story starts with the new baby that I had. We proceeded to have 2 more children in this home, and that's where the story begins. So I was just home from the hospital, and I was in a very sleep-deprived state. You might even say, hallucinatory, because I had not slept in so long. But the new baby that I had just had was sound asleep. And it's important to note that on this particular night when we were home from the hospital, it was very rainy and it was a kind of a cold, wintry mix outside because he was born in December. So on one of the first nights we were home, I hear a baby crying on the crib outside of my house. And it's very, very real to me. And I had just had a cesarean section. I couldn't go out there, but it was so significant that I asked my husband to go out there and check to make sure there wasn't a baby crying on the crib. So he goes out in the rain and he checks on this. And of course he comes back and says, there's no baby crying on the crib. So I guess it was just all in my mind, right? Well, then over the ensuing days, I would hear a baby crying in our house. And so it was actually had come inside now. And this crying was never my baby, because I knew this for sure, because I would be wearing the baby in a little baby carrier, or the baby would be sound asleep in a bassinet or on a blanket, and the crying would just happen. And it always was paired with the weather being very cold and rainy. And so this was something that I thought I might be actually, going crazy to hear this baby all the time. And so sometimes it usually came from upstairs. I would begin to walk up the stairs to check on this phantom baby. I came to think of it as that. And as I got to this creaky stair in our home, the crying would always stop. So that went on. But one night, yes, the creaky stair, it's an important part of the story.
Very creaky.
And Jill, not to interrupt you, were you telling anyone about this? Were you telling your husband?
Well, that's coming up. I did of course tell him about it, but he never heard it. So he didn't really believe me. But there's an instance coming up was in fact hear it. But prior to that, there was a night when I had fallen asleep and with all the lights on, and Sam was asleep in a little bassinet next to my bed, and it was raining again. And all of a sudden I sat up in the middle of the night and there was a man who was standing at my bedside, and he was wearing a black trench coat, and he had on a top hat, and was dripping and he was dripping wet. And he wasn't scary, which was the weird thing. And so strangely, I just said, hi. And so he said, hi. And then he disappeared. But then he had been looking down at baby. And when I went to touch my baby, my actual baby, his sleeper was wet. And that totally freaked me out. So at that point, I wake up my husband and I'm like, there was a man standing at our bed and looking over the baby. And so my husband's increasingly thinking that I'm going insane. And so my husband just says, well, what did you say? I said, well, I said hello, but that's all there was to that. Okay. So then there was this one evening, to go back to your question, when my husband was home. And it was raining, and we were just sitting downstairs watching TV, and it was into the evening. So the actual baby, the real baby, our baby Sam, had already gone to sleep in his crib. And we were both sitting there, and we hear this crying, but I don't say anything. I pretend like I don't hear it, just to see if he hears it and see if he's going to react. And then he looks at me and he says, do you hear that? And then that was finally the relief I needed, that I wasn't going completely insane. And he said, is that sounded? It had an eerier sound to it. So it never sounded like our child that we had. And it wasn't coming through the monitor. We had our child on the baby monitor. It wasn't coming through that. And I said, nope. So I said, why don't you go up and check? Because this is what I've been talking to you about. Right. And he walks up the stairs. He gets to the creaky stair, and the crying stops. And then I said, well, hurry on up and make sure that Sam is sound asleep. And sure enough, Sam is sound asleep in his crib. So this crying went on, this phantom baby, for about 4 months.
Oh my
and
goodness.
Then it stopped. But there's more. There was one, so the crying stopped, no more crying until once Sam was 4 months old. Then there was one day that when Sam was a little bit older, that my husband was turning the backyard into a sandbox. He was just truly excavating the backyard, and he was finding interesting things that as he was digging, found a very old wedding ring, and it was very beautiful. And he brought it in and he cleaned it off, and he gave it to me, and I put it on. And shortly thereafter, it was time to put Sam to sleep in his crib. So while I was rocking him, I started getting just horrible cramping that felt like I was in labor. I was not pregnant at the time.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And during that time, when I felt that, the window was open, because it was springtime now, and there was a breeze that just kind of whipped through the window in this very unusual way. And I just kind of doubled over in pain. And I felt, I don't know what made me take the ring off exactly, but I did. And as soon as I took that ring off, I felt okay.
Oh
So,
my God.
Right.
Yeah. So we're going to jump ahead in time a little bit to Sam is nearly 2 years old. And now I actually am pregnant again. And I think that the energy of me being pregnant again is what precipitated the next event. But I was very close to my due date. I had even had my friends that had a little diaper shower for me that day. So I was thinking about the new baby, and I think that matters. But it was also raining, and it was another circumstance where I was home alone, and it was just me and Sam. And I was rocking him to bed. And if you can picture that, the rocking chair was facing his crib, and he was looking out over my shoulder into a larger room that was our bedroom. And all of a sudden, and this was the only time in all these instances that I truly felt scared. And all of a sudden the room got very, very cold. And Sam, who was staring out into the larger room, he just said, hi. And so same thing I had said when that man was at my bedside. So I spun around and I set him down, and he sort of toddled off toward the middle of the room. And I came up to him and I asked, I didn't see anything myself. And I asked who was there, who he was talking to. And he said, man, umbrella, wet. And that was all he said.
What?
So, and then he just kind of lost his train of thought about it, and that was it. So shortly thereafter, we were having some construction done in our home because the new baby came shortly thereafter. And we were transitioning our older child up to the attic space that was being redone, so that the new baby could come into the nursery. Well, the people that were doing the construction, they came down to talk with me one day, and they asked, how old the house was and how much I knew about the house. And I asked them why they were wondering all these things. And they said, well, in the insulation in the room that is part of this tower, because the house had kind of a tower where the roof line didn't reach it. They said, we're finding in the insulation, we don't even know how it could have gotten there, but we're finding all sorts of old letters and pictures and, bank statements and various important papers. And I said, oh my goodness, that's really exciting. Can I see them? And they brought down the pictures, and the one picture of the man in the top hat, I recognized him.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right.
I know.
Right.
So yeah. So then once the new baby came, his name was Ben. Once I actually had him and brought him home from the hospital, you might imagine that we began to hear the phantom cries again. And it happened whenever it rained outside, and it went on again for the initial 4 months of Ben's life.
Oh my goodness.
I know. So since that time, as the boys have grown older and our lives have moved on, the cries in the house have remained silent, and there hasn't been any events. But I can tell you what my belief is. It's my belief that a mother in the early 1900s died in childbirth. And that was the horrible cramping that I felt when I put on her ring, which I think actually was her ring. And I think for some reason, the husband had buried some of her remains in the backyard. I think that the distraught father was really limited in his ability to care for the baby in the early months of the baby's life. And that's why the baby was always crying, because he didn't have a mother to care for him. And I believe that the baby was sick, but I also believe that the baby stopped crying every time he got to the creaky step, because he knew that a mother or someone to care for him was coming up. And I'm certain that the baby died around 4 months of age. And I think it happened on a rainy night. And I think it happened in front of the house as they were attempting to get the care that he needed. And that was the crying on the curb that was so intense for me the very first night I got home from the hospital, after my own baby had been very sick and had been in the ICU. And I also think that the father, who was a kind person, but also so sad, was not scary, because the night I visualized him and the night he appeared to Sam, I believe that he was checking on the baby the night he appeared to Sam. And I believe he was actually checking on me, because I was about to give birth the night that experience happened, because I gave birth very shortly thereafter. So really, I think it's actually a love story.
Oh,
and rather than a ghost story.
Yeah.
And and it was stirred by new birth in an old home. And I think that the little track that repeated itself twice with two new babies has now gone silent again. And that's my ghost story.
Angel, that was phenomenal.
Angel, that's amazing.
And also, I love that she really, like, obviously all of that actually happened, but we love that you spent time on it to tell, like, in a beautiful way to tell us too. Angel, I just love you. I love you so much. And
I love you, Audrey.
And I remember less than what you told me, because you told us when we were young, was when
we actually would go. Do you remember we would go into the closet and we'd light some candles and
play the Ouija board.
I would make it play the Ouija board, and I'd tell it as a really scary story, and you guys freaked out. Yeah.
The Ouija board always worked with us. The Ouija, I believe that my mom's side too, but I believe that we have some kind of were able to connect with whatever is over on that side. Because the Ouija board, the Ouija board worked when we were in the closet. Or were you joking with us one time?
No, I really wasn't.
Yeah, it
And
worked.
Jill, you
Yeah,
you
better.
knew you had confirmed ghosts in your house, and you were bringing a bunch of kids into a closet to use a Ouija board.
Yeah, I have to tell you that Halloween, my
That's
favorite
crazy.
holiday.
I
of the
was
year,
telling you,
and,
holiday.
and the kids they had to get used to it, right? Because it's
And
scary. It's fun, scary.
And Aunt Jill, I'm coming home for Halloween, so I'll be home.
I know.
Halloween is very Halloween's my favorite holiday too.
Yes.
And Jill, are you scared of ghosts at all? Since you have like a
No,
firsthand
she said
experience with
hi.
them.
No, I'm just like, I find it interesting and creative, and I can't imagine that everyone passes over without spending a little time coming back and forth a bit. So yeah, I don't get scared. I think it's part of life,
Aunt Jill,
Wow.
or part of death, I should say.
Part of death.
I love how you said it was also a love story too.
Yeah, that's very sweet.
Yes.
That's Aunt Jill for you.
Yes.
We just
Oh my
appreciate
goodness.
it.
Yes. Well, sweet Audrey, I have to get back to work.
Yes, get back to work. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us. I think your story is going to be perceived very well across the internets.
All right.
And Jill, that story was amazing. Thank you for coming
It was
on.
incredible. Yeah, it's better
You're
than I
welcome.
remember too. So I love
You're
you.
welcome. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. See you.
Happy
See you
Halloween.
in like 2 weeks, Aunt Jill.
Okay. Excellent.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, do we end it there?
That was crazy.
Is that not insane? Wolf, did you hear any of that? You got to re-listen to it when you get the chance. It's insane. Is it not? It's not insane, but I mean, it's crazy. It's wild.
I'll listen to it when I edit it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, better than you thought, right?
Much better than I didn't expect it to be bad.
No, that's why I was
But
like,
it was just really, really good.
that's why I was like, we have to have her on because, here's the other thing is,
And Aunt Jill, first of all, Aunt Jill is very charming.
oh yeah,
Aunt Jill's very charming.
the sweetest woman alive.
And she told the story so well.
Oh, she's the best. She's a speech pathologist, works with everybody.
Content aside, she's real smooth with it.
Oh yeah. What?
She's real smooth with
Trying to
it.
hit on my aunt right now.
Well,
What? Anyways, she no, so she, and I love how everyone in our family, like I said, loves Halloween, but
that was crazy.
everything checks out too. Like we saw the ring and the picture.
Of the man in the top hat?
Yes, so it all checks out.
The wet man in the top hat?
Yes, it all checks out. And her husband at the time would, like, he told us too, like there was confirmations everywhere. So like, and then Sam, who's older now, like there's proof in the pudding.
So we were talking about how we both have big families, and your aunts and uncles are real into Halloween.
Yeah.
My family's the opposite. My aunts and uncles don't let my cousins watch like Harry Potter or like it's not biblical. But
It's not biblical.
It's not biblical. But that's why I couldn't imagine that story when Angel said she would take you guys into the closet and
play
with a
Ouija
Ouija
board.
board.
Yeah, our family was like, except for my sister hates it.
Well, Ouija boards freak me out in general.
I was like, grew up with them, and then I had to get rid of mine in
I
my
was
apartment
raised
because
on
everyone
Ouija
was
boards.
freaking out.
I think they're really scary, and if I like knew ghosts were in my house, I would never touch a Ouija board.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you can call in the bad spirits, apparently.
Well, do you think ghosts can hurt people?
Yeah, I mean, I think they can. Yeah, probably.
Well, if you think ghosts can hurt people,
Well, remember first episode of No Pill?
Oh yeah, that's Sydney.
Sydney said that they could. Didn't she?
well, what do you think?
I think, yeah. I think they could hurt you if you do something bad to them. I mean, if you're not fucking with the ghost, why you gotta fuck with you?
Amen.
That's true.
Unless it's like, yeah, I feel like like, if you're like pushing something, I don't know, like maybe, you hear people like falling downstairs and they're like, how'd they fall down those stairs? Unless they have severe ADHD and they were paying attention and slipped on their socks.
Which is also very real. I don't hear a lot of stories about people falling downstairs.
Oh, what if I was like, got 10 pulled up right here?
Pull them up to the board.
So,
Man, that was crazy.
today's guest,
Okay,
Aunt Jill.
Do you want to finish the story you were telling before?
Oh, yeah. So let's bounce back. And you know
So
what's the best about this pod is because obviously for everyone with ADHD, people can pick up the pieces. Bounce, 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 bounce.
And it'll like all make sense in their brain. In
Yeah.
their-
Call us
in
Shaq
their
because we're
wicked
bouncing.
brain. Nice.
No.
Yep. Shaq,
Okay.
Shaq, a famous bouncer.
A famous, as we know, he bounces.
Worked as a bouncer in college.
Varsity
Is that what
bouncing.
you're referencing?
What?
He worked as a bouncer in college.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, yeah.
I was talking
Put
about
himself
bouncing
through
a
college
ball.
bouncing.
That is actually incredible. I had no
Yeah,
idea.
yeah.
Shout out to Shaq. He's our guest next week.
Shout out to Shaq.
We're very excited. Jam and the Van pulled that off for
I
us.
can't believe Shaq is coming next week. He's got a ghost story.
He's got to go.
And
It's like a haunted locker room. We're like...
He has a ghost story about a ghost with severe ADHD.
His ghost story is
we're very excited to have him on.
His ghost story is they just lost by 10 points. We're like, hey, Shaq, that's not
not
a
that
ghost
spooky.
story. That's just a sad thing that happened.
Yeah, but we wanted to win. Yep, still not.
That's
still
not a ghost
spooky.
story. So
Okay, so you're telling a story about a real hottie McTottie babysitter.
yes, that's not my aunt. Let's get that clear.
That's not your aunt.
Okay, so she takes over for the hottie toddy babysitter.
Yeah.
And the hottie toddy babysitter's doing. And my aunt was hilarious when she was telling it. 'Cause she was like, I don't know why I wasn't included in those plans, but that's okay. And she like took over the job for hottie.
Yeah.
So she locks all the doors. Thank God. Okay, locks
Smart.
all the doors.
That should
Smart.
have been done originally.
Right. So then as we left off at storming, she hears something at the screen door. And
Oh my god.
and that's our segment brought to you by Suja Organic Element, where burping. Oh, I thought that was the mic.
You broke it. Is it the mic?
No, it's this. Can you imagine I burp on the mic? I didn't screw the lid on tight enough. Can you imagine
You shatter the mic.
I like the mic has like acidic battery on
it. You
it.
blow it out.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways,
Okay, Audrey burps. Anyway,
that's a segment every time. So
that was powerful.
it was powerful. So essentially, she hears at the screen door a crowbar comes through.
A crowbar comes through the door?
Yes. And my Aunt Elsie literally, the kids are sitting upstairs.
This is a for real scary story.
Oh yeah, this is for real scary. This is actually not fun.
What do you mean a crowbar?
Light, like,
what do you mean a crowbar comes through the door? Like through the window?
yeah.
Like is there a window like
I
on
think
the door?
the screen. It came through the screen or something.
Was there just a screen door?
Wait, no.
Because she would have been able to see through
Something
it.
with here. Well, maybe have her cleared up, but it was something with a crowbar coming through a window or whatever, or trying to unlock something.
Maybe it was. You know how doors have like windows in them sometimes?
Yeah.
Like in the center.
Yeah, that might
Maybe
be.
it came through like one of the window panes of the door.
Yeah, it might have been doing that.
Sure.
However, there was a crowbar, and they were trying to get in with the crowbar, and they couldn't. So they were not succeeding. But
Gotta take that crowbar.
But my Aunt Elsie, well, she thought about it, but she didn't do it. So my Aunt, how I'd be terrified too. So my Aunt Elsie then sees a piece of paper of where the parents are staying, like where the parents are at, like the phone number. Because remember at the time, no one has cell phones.
Right.
So
you remember the 80s, right?
You remember the 80s.
Remember
right?
the 80s? No one has cell phones?
Was it the 70s?
Yeah, I
It
remember.
was the 80s. I'm kidding. They're young. 70s, 80s. So runs upstairs, can't grab the number because it's too afraid. And like, I don't know, she was thinking the crowbar could come back and snatch her hand because the crowbar.
It's terrifying.
Yeah. So she runs upstairs and the kids are asleep and she goes into one of the rooms. I don't even think she goes into the kids' room.
Ooh.
I think what she was thinking is there's no phone in the kids' room. So she needs to go.
Went to the phone room.
She's got the phone room. And she takes the
That's
phone, goes underneath the bed. First thought in her mind is to call my grandma and grandpa. My grandma's like, no, it's the storm. Are you sure? Whatever.
That's what your grandma said?
Well, the storm was so loud, and my grandma knows how paranoid Aunt Elsie has been in the past.
But like, hey, someone's is like wielding a
But then
crowbar in
she-
front of me.
True, but
It's
then-
probably the
Well,
rain.
so I don't think the crowbar was said yet. So then I think Aunt Elsie explained what happened, and then my grandma said, stay on the phone with me. Let's get my grandpa to go out there.
Yeah.
And I don't think like my Aunt Elsie said it was at a time where you do what your parents say. Like your parents just say jump, you say how high. Like
Well, that's very Midwest as well.
Yeah.
Like, I was raised that way. Like, you don't question adults at all.
right. And of course, my grandpa goes in the rain. Versus, I don't know how. Like in my head, I was like, why not call the police? But I don't know what that system looked like back then with how fast things were.
I have no idea.
So my grandpa drove over to the house and standing out there with his giant lights. He has a truck with giant headlights. And he goes out there and he's in the rain and he's screaming at the door, get down here, Elsie, and open the door. And Elsie's like, no, I'm not going down there. And my grandpa's like, come down here. And he's like, Elsie, come. And then she was like, yes, sir. And came down and let him in. And then like, they couldn't find anything. No one believes her. And then, the parents come home.
But is there broken glass and stuff?
No, they couldn't get in. There was like, no, something about the crowbar, like went through some kind of.
Maybe it was the mail slot?
Yeah. Yes. It could have been something. I'll figure it out. But there was somewhere with the crowbar trying to go through, trying to unlock something.
Okay.
So, then my yeah, my grandpa's there. Then the parents end up coming home. Whatever, the parents are freaked, but no one's believing Elsie, and it's like raining and whatever, and everyone's like, it's late, and everyone's like, it's fine, it's whatever. The next morning, just to be safe, the parents of the house that she was babysitting call the police. The police come over and check it out, and they said there is a giant hole in the fence. So someone had ripped open the fence, came through, and there was footsteps to three men that were around each windows. So like,
oh my God.
And then and Aunt Elsie said, keep in mind the TV was on, the lights were on. So the theory is that someone had been watching the house and knew that the past babysitter was there, and they were probably there for not to steal something.
Oh no.
Yeah. But because my Aunt Elsie, here's where it gets all chilly, is like my Aunt Elsie babysat instead of her that night. Imagine if she babysat that night, she would have left everything unlocked. She doesn't lock the doors.
Oh my God. That story's crazy too.
Yeah.
In a scarier way.
In a scarier way, because it's more,
real life.
And I love Aunt Jo because she was like, and that was a love ghost story. But
This one's not.
this is like
That's
these
like
people had like devil sinister in them.
That's like a horrifying story.
It's horrifying. And then she never babysat ever again after that.
Anyone?
No.
I would never leave my home after something like that.
Yeah. Well, and then I think the woman went back or something. went back and babysat, just locked all the doors. Because I was like, I don't know.
That's terrifying. I don't like that story.
It was awful. So I guess there's not much humor to that.
Nope. But
Well, this has been No Pill Friday. But yeah.
that's really scary. Stories like that make me very sad.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about ghosts again.
But it was meant to happen, though. It was meant to be that she was there, my aunt, instead of
For sure.
Hottie Toddy.
Instead of that hottie toddy.
Instead of that Hottie Toddy girl. But you do want to talk about ghosts.
I'd like you to talk more about ghosts and your interactions with them.
Okay. What if I just puked on the mic and then died?
That would be startling.
That would be crazy.
Then I'd have a spooky story. I don't have any spooky stories.
You don't no spooky
I don't really
stories?
I don't have interactions with ghosts, but I like hearing about other people's. And
Yeah.
I believe in ghosts.
Well, my cousin, I mean, I feel like we could have one story call in a week in October.
October. That's the word.
October.
It's really you really sound
October.
You really sound like you're from Indiana when you say
October.
it. October.
And I think it's crazy. You never know. We might get some good traction off of telling people call in and telling stories.
Telling spooky stories.
Any stories.
Yeah. Stories are fun.
And stories are fun. We could riff on them.
Stories are a lot of fun.
So if you guys like
Is
this
this
idea,
turned into a production meeting?
I love when I'm like, yeah, this is a meeting.
Okay, got it.
I'm like, if you guys like that, comment below. But we always make fun of how I say that, and then no one ever comments below, except for Jim in the van. That's like, woo, good job. So,
Audrey, text me back.
oh my god, crazy times.
Okay, so you've said that you feel like you can interact with spooky spirits.
I think so.
Do you want to talk
I
more
feel
about
like that's
that?
how this podcast has accidentally talked about too many paranormal. This podcast from the start has
It's become more of a spook podcast than an ADHD podcast.
it's become. Everyone's like, you listen to that ADHD horror stories,
Spooky Specters with Audrey Stewart.
and everyone's like, wait, I don't. So it's about ADHD, but they tell scary stories. You're like, yeah,
They can't focus on the ghosts that they're talking about.
yeah.
Would you like to talk about that?
We already did. I've already told you all.
Okay.
I've told you about all the Ouija stuff. I'll tell you, recently too, I did another, like, I was drunk. I could only do readings when I'm drunk. I'm a drum medium. A drunk medium. Drunk man.
Inebriatum.
A mediums.
Inebriatum.
Drunkianum. Anyways, so.
And please welcome back in Jill.
Yeah, Jill, back in the building. God, this is when I was thinner, and so basically, what if I was just like the like?
Just wanderlusting after yourself.
I'm like, God.
I don't think my parents believe in ghosts.
I think a lot of people don't believe in ghosts.
I'm gonna text my mom right now.
Do you believe in them?
Yeah, I just said that. Were you listening?
No, I was not. Welcome to No Pill Friday.
Welcome to No Friday, where we don't listen.
Where we don't.
I'm gonna text my mom.
Friday, where no
Do you
one
believe in
listens.
ghosts?
My cousin. Do you guys? I mean, this is a weird thing. So obviously, fraternities haze, right? One of the things my cousin had to do. We won't say the school or the frat, even though
The frat.
The frat, even though why not? Whatever.
Audrey, name names, man.
It's mainly because I don't really know.
Remember last episode when you named a guy with a tiny penis?
Oh, that was so funny.
On air, and they didn't edit it?
Oh my god, it's still on.
Yeah, it's his first and last name. But that's what you get at No Pill Friday. Sorry. Who's going to be our next victim?
Now for our segment, Name Names.
We're going after the undead this week.
We're going...
Starting beef with the afterlife. All right, I texted my mom and my dad.
And said, do you guys believe in ghosts?
Do you believe in ghosts?
Well, yeah.
There's
I mean,
a good chance
you know
they
what?
don't.
I think that they might, because if they're not letting you watch Harry Potter, because
My parents let us watch Harry Potter, but I have family who's not allowed to watch Harry Potter.
odds are that's because they probably believe in the devil. Because they're like,
They
we
do.
don't want that devil shit. So they probably believe in
That's
ghosts.
exactly why. I asked my dad what my horoscope was, and he said, that's devil stuff. And I said, okay.
It is so... You're like, hey, Dad, am I a Gemini? That's the devil
He's
working.
like, don't worry about that. That's witchcraft. And I was like, okay. This was when I was in like middle school.
I'm dead.
Just found out I'm a Taurus. Shout out Tauruses.
Are you stubborn? That's what they're known for.
I can be.
Yeah.
But that's like, everyone can be stubborn.
Oh, I could be stubborn.
What are you?
Gemini Taurus.
You're Gemini Taurus.
I'm a cusp child, May 21st.
April 24th.
Oh,
We have so much in common.
We have a lot in
Oh
common.
my God, we have so much in
That's
common.
why we're doing this podcast.
Oh my God, we have so much in common.
We have so much in common. But anyway, so my cousin, he was getting hazed, and they had to go to an insane asylum.
And how big would you say is your cousin's penis?
What if the... You
No
that
words?
Here's the thing. You know that my aunts are going to be listening to this episode because...
Oh no!
Yeah,
Sorry, Aunt Jill.
Because they're on it. So...
Hey, sorry, Aunt Jill. That's
So I
just
had
how it
nothing
goes
to
on
do
No
with
Pill Friday.
No, that's not how it goes on No Pill Friday. That's just Danny
Audrey
being...
told me to say that.
I did not. That's just Danny being an absolute degenerate.
No.
So anyways, my cousin...
I do what I'm told.
They get hazed, and one night they have to go to an insane asylum and lay in the crematory because it abandoned. All insane asylums shut down, right?
Wait, what?
There are no insane asylums are shut down. Remember, they're impractical. The government shut them all down. So there's buildings of insane asylums.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, you make it sound like it happened all at once, but there shall be no more.
There shall be no more, and everyone just gets up and leaves.
I know that they're abandoned mental institutions.
Yeah, mental institutions. Yeah.
This isn't bad.
Well, I'm sorry I did that.
Audrey burps.
Excuse me.
Round 2. Okay, so they take them to an insane asylum.
Yeah, they take them to. Well, no, yeah. So they have to go to an insane asylum.
Can you tell what state this is in?
Boston. I think it's Boston.
Boston's not a state.
Yeah. Okay. Massachusetts.
Hey, Boston's not a state. Okay, so it's in Mass. It's in Mass.
It's in Mass.
Is it in Waltham?
I don't know what the hell. Did
Is
you
it-
just swallow your own tongue?
Is it in Malden?
Is it Waltham?
Is it in Gloucester?
Are you swallowing your tongue?
Is it in Back Bay?
Are you just making up
I can
words?
name so many Massachusetts cities.
I don't.
I can name a lot
Why?
because I used to live there.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really know where it is. We'll find out.
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
No, please don't. So
They
they're
would
looking.
take the rest of the pod.
Which honestly, how many? We have 5 minutes left.
We have 5 minutes left.
Oh wait, or no, we ended short. Are we started?
Have we started? Is that what you said?
No. We started.
Wait,
at
have
11.
have we started?
We started at 11:45, so it's 12:26. Okay, so basically, the insane asylum. He was up.
Wolf, Audrey just asked, "Have we started?"
No, I did not. I did not ask you.
Okay, and go. Okay,
Okay.
Audrey!
So goes to the insane asylum.
guys.
10 minutes till an hour.
Okay, hell yeah.
That's what we needed.
That's what we needed.
All right, I'm starting my timer.
And as soon as it hits hour, I have to fly out of here because
Azusa.
I'm on a shoot.
Azusa. Audrey's on a photo shoot today.
I'm on a photo shoot
Audrey's on a
today.
photo shoot.
Yes. So basically,
So
he goes to the insane asylum, but what was scary about it is everything was there. It was as if everyone had just gotten up and left.
that's probably what happened.
They had tools there, everything was there. And what they had to do as part of the hazing dare was lay in the crematory where all they
What?
kill the dead bodies.
Well, the dead bodies are dead.
Yeah, dead bodies.
Where they
Burn them.
kill them.
So they burn them. I don't know. I heard a story one time. Well, that's not our story. It's from another podcast, so we can't take it. But hey, out there.
No Pill Friday. I had to look at the sign.
Not you having to look
What's
at the
the
sign
name?
to know the
What's
name of
the
our
name?
podcast.
Not No Pill Fridays. We don't hawk material. We have ethics here.
I don't know. I'm not above it.
You're not above stealing pod stories?
I'm not.
Swapping stories with Audrey Stewart.
Swap and spit. And
Swap and spit with Audrey Stewart stories.
And that,
That wasn't a good title.
yeah, okay.
So they would have them lay in the crematorium.
Yeah, just creepy.
In the incinerator?
Yeah.
What do you think it was functioning?
I don't know if everything was just there, probably. Like,
Massachusetts Gas Company probably turned off
yeah.
their subscription when they moved out.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just,
I would not do that.
That's got to be so haunted.
I don't want to join any organization that makes you do that.
No. Oh, which all of them. Well, you were in Fidel.
I wasn't in Fidel.
What?
I was not in Fidel.
You were?
Nope.
Were you in a frat?
I was in a fraternity.
Which one? Oh, yes.
And we don't need to mention it.
Oh, Sigma Alpha.
I don't want to say it because it's different at every school.
Yeah, it's true.
And I don't want people to think that it's one of the bad ones from a different school. At our school, it was a good one. It was nice people.
Rhymes with Mason and May.
Doesn't rhyme with that. I don't think anything rhymes with what you just said.
Well, what do we end on?
It was a lot of nice people.
So what do we?
And I've heard that at other schools, the same chapter, not nice people.
Yeah, that's what it is with a lot of houses, though. Like some good chapters, some bad chapters. But the thing is, we're
good chapters, some
Did your
bad
parents respond if they
chapters,
believe
like
in
a
ghosts?
book. No, but I can call my mom.
And just ask.
Yeah.
All right,
You
we're
wanna
very
talk for a
curious.
second?
Yeah, and then we will close out.
Yeah. I'll call my dad. He'll have a funnier response.
You want to put them on speakerphone
My
up to
mom,
the?
my mom probably does.
Put them on speakerphone
Well,
up to the mic.
I have to tell him, or else it's illegal. With my dad litigated me.
Oh my God, that's your dad, Susie.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay, it looks like.
Oh yeah, here I won't bother you, but I'm recording a podcast with my friend Audrey, and we just had a quick question for you. Do you believe in ghosts? Do you think they can hurt people? Okay. All right. Interesting. Okay, can I say that on air? Can I repeat what you just said? Can I repeat what you just said on air? Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. All right. Love you, man. See ya.
Danny just called his dad and literally, like, it sounded like you got him and you said, "Hey, Dad, how are you?" He's like, from what I heard, it was like, "This is the worst moment of my life." What did he say?
He didn't say that.
What did he say?
He also didn't. He doesn't talk like that.
Did he not say?
No, he was like, "Hey, I'm out on the golf course with my friend. He plays golf like once a year,
That's
and
so
I called him the one time he was golfing."
I
I said, "Do you believe in ghosts?" He said, "Yes." And I said, "Do you think they can hurt people?" And he said, "I believe in evil spirits." He said no to ghosts. He's like, "I believe in evil spirits." And I said, "Do you think they can hurt people?" And he said, "Yes, if you let them. People who aren't strong in their faith, evil spirits can hurt you."
So atheist. I'm just kidding.
So atheist?
So hey, atheist.
Hey, atheist?
Newsflash to you.
You're fucked.
You better wear fucking armor when you're around historic areas.
You better wear spectral armor, fucking atheist.
Hey, how about you just pick up a Bible and protect yourself?
No problems with atheist on.
That's why we don't want to lose you on No Pill Friday if
We'd
you're
like
an
not
atheist.
to alienate the atheist.
Here's a newsflash. To let
Although
you
you
know,
probably feel very alienated already.
that was a bit, and we do love the atheists as well as the Christians and the other categories of religions. So,
We love them all.
and that's on No Pill Friday.
Watch out for those spooky spirits.
And that was. I'm glad we had this episode with Aunt Jill. I think it was fantastic. The Aunt Elsie story might shake it to your bones. I wouldn't
The second story I hated.
take a nap after listening to this. You might have a nightmare.
Yep.
Or my burping on this episode will
Your
give you a
burp-
nightmare.
Wolfie, Mr. Verb, it was
Oh,
so loud.
We thought it broke the mic, but it was actually that the water bottle had
We
been not
thought-
screwed on, so it went.
We thought it like blew out the
we
mic.
thought
It was
my
so
acid
loud.
destroyed.
Was
the
Aunt Jill
mic.
reading something?
Yes, so she prepared. Aunt Jill's so sweet. She prepared her story to make sure she could stay on track. And
because I was listening to her, I'm like, this is so
she crafted
this
it
flows
out
so well, and it's so articulate.
because there's so many important parts to it. She
and
didn't
then I heard a
wanna-
page turn, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but she didn't want to miss anything.
And Jill came prepped.
Yeah, she didn't want to miss because there's so many like important.
I just thought she was a natural orator.
No. I mean, yes.
No, Aunt Jill can't speak. Well, she's a speech pathologist.
She's a speech pathologist. When I had vocal surgery, she really wanted to help me. And sometimes at family events, she'll always look at me and be like, your voice.
Oh, that's
because I'll be like drunk on like throwing corn around, screaming. And
she's like, worried about your voice.
Yeah, she's always so worried about my voice.
She was like proud that your voice is so strong.
No. I get drunk and I scream and I will just shred my chords. Which honestly,
I just shred my chords.
I just shred my
I get
chords,
drunk
bro.
and I just shred my fucking chords.
I
don't
just
know
drink
what
an
to do
IPA
about
and I fucking shred my goddamn
shred
chords. So on that note, that was No Pill Friday. Can't wait for another whatever we got in store next week with Shaq, our guest.
Yeah, come back and see Shaq dribbles.
And
Shaq
there are new
bounces.
plants here, and we love them. Thank you so much.
It feels good to be me. Every time I breathe, everywhere I